All right, welcome to another episode of Delayed Offside. As you can see, we have been joined by Sanjay and myself, who missed last episode, but we are missing our fearless leader, Baron. He was not able to make it today, so I'm going to do my best to fill in his shoes. It's a lofty goal, but I'm going to do my best. And since this game happened this past Saturday, so I mean it's a while ago already, but because I have the two of you here.
Whoa, Peter, before we begin.
Okay, what are we doing here?
Baron has always ragged on me about, Sanjay's missing because he tripped on air. Sanjay's missing because, this and that happened. Where's Baron today? Here I am, and Baron is nowhere to be seen. So let's go around the table and come up with one reason why Baron isn't here today.
See, I was trying to avoid that because it felt like every single episode someone was missing. Yeah. we just did the same song and dance, but just to make you feel better, Sanjay, yes, we can do that. Adam, what's Baron doing right now?
Oh, Baron's got hardcore FOMO. He's got some buddies that if they go out without him, he's gotta be there, and we're the B-listers.
I think because he was hosting his parents. They were pointing out how poor of a job he's done at cleaning his place. So he's now scrubbing the floor and cleaning out his bedroom and cleaning the laundry and having to do all that stuff because his parents told him so. So I think that's what he's busy with right now. Sanjay,
yeah, that makes sense. No, what were you gonna say, Adam?
Well, in all honesty, the man is working on his master's, so I get where he's coming from because I finished mine.
Oh, okay. Humble brag over there.
I get it.
But next week is gonna have his diploma in the background or his master's degree in the background. I should
get my degrees up.
Adam got his master's without missing an episode. So
Oh no, I missed episodes. We put them off for sure. Yeah, it impacted it big time.
Yeah, I think Baron's going to the library to return some overdue books or something, like How to Make Friends and Alienate People or something like that.
Oh my god.
How to be a good cousin, right?
Yeah, how to be a good cousin.
How to be a better cousin.
Podcast co-host.
All right. Okay. Well, we got that song and dance out of the way. Okay, so the Battle of Alberta. I mean, it happened Saturday, which is a while ago, but I mean, with the two of you here, we got to have the battle between you two on this podcast. It has to happen every time we have this Battle of Alberta. So let's get into it. The Oilers took that game 3-2 and evened up the regular season series at one game apiece. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Adam, your team won, so why don't we start with you?
I think we found another X factor here in our goaltending, and goaltender Stuart Skinner. His shots against in both Calgary games, because Campbell was pulled in the first one, was 72, and he stopped 70 of them. I believe already he's got the best save percentage in the NHL at 0.955.
Didn't he get the memo? If you're a goalie in the Battle of Alberta, you're supposed to let in every third shot.
Markstrom got that memo when McDavid
Markstrom, Campbell, Smith, they all got it. Where was Skinner?
Yeah, so
he's too new to the battle, I guess.
Yeah, but honestly, that's been a major factor in the reason that Edmonton won that game. They got very solid goaltending, and then they got timely goals. Third period, right near the beginning, they came out. McDavid put a soft puck on net, beat Markstrom coming back from behind the net like Mike Smith, and beat him short side. Weak goal that he should have had. Now I can't remember what was the third goal. What was the third goal, Sanjay?
Don't remember. Never happened. I don't know. I think the refs just gave you guys a goal
in time.
Yeah, but just beautiful. It's all just poetry and motion and revenge. And yet, I don't know about you, Sanjay, and I might be putting words in your mouth, but that first line in Calgary just wasn't clicking at all.
No, it's been a while now. It's 8 games, and Sutter had to switch it up, put Gaudreau on that line to kind of get Huberdeau going. Definitely not the start I was expecting when we signed him. Actually, that's not true, because I remember at the first episode, I said it would take Calgary a while to get going and clicking with the lines. Yeah, nope. I did say that. So, I think but
Calgary's doing great.
I mean, the first line has to get going, but lines 2 to 4 are doing pretty well. Yeah.
Do you think Lindholm is missing Tkachuk and Gaudreau?
I think so. I think he just got to get used to playing with his new line mates, because yesterday he was playing with Toffoli and Lucic, which is a little bit of a step down from Gaudreau and Tkachuk. But I think he'll figure it out. he's too good of a player. He did a lot of heavy lifting last year where he was in the D zone, like always back. So that way Gaudreau and Tkachuk could, focus more on the offense. And it just seems like something's off with Lindholm. Like I was at the game yesterday and like Lindholm had like a shot in the slot. And like last year he was burying that. And yesterday it was just like a weak muffin on net. So I don't know. He's got to get his like confidence back and get his mojo back. And like once they start clicking, because they are playing fairly well. But once they get their top line going, then that's something to be excited about.
Are they putting that top line back together, or are they keeping it switched up for now?
They played the first 7 games together, and then for yesterday they switched it up. So who knows what they'll do tomorrow? They haven't released the lines yet. But I just want to say something about that Battle of Alberta. It seems like, I don't know what it is, but like certain players just seem to always score on Calgary. And Zachary Hyman is like one of them. And it's really annoying me because like every game you look at the score sheet, it's like, oh, Hyman's got a goal. Hyman's got a goal. Hyman's got a goal. So like if you're a gambler out there and you got to put like money on someone to score, and if the Oilers are playing the Flames, put $100 on Hyman to score because you'll get easy money. That kid always scores on Calgary.
Either Hyman scoring a goal or Markstrom letting in at least 3 or 4.
Oh, another thing is, you could just do that every game. Put some money on Hyman, put some money on Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Draisaitl, Kane. Those guys are top 30 scorers right now. Like it's insane how well that team is clicking.
You say insane, I say annoying. Okay.
Yeah, well,
it is annoying from my perspective because
for sure. Sure.
Like,
that's just like how Kadri was flying for the Flames. I was like, God, in that first one. But this is perfect. This is perfect. This is good for hockey. This is good for our country.
It's good for the podcast.
This is
better tied up. So now we're all excited for that rubber
good for
match.
Alberta.
And who's got tickets? I got tickets to that rubber match. That's going to be a heck of a game.
Nice.
I can't wait for it.
You should take Adam.
Yeah. Well, I'm taking my wife. So if he can convince my wife not to come to that game, then maybe.
There you go. Do it.
Yeah.
Just tell her that you'll do all the house chores for a month or something.
Yeah, like I'll watch the kids for you for like a week, and then she'll
she'll say yes for sure. Then
yeah, absolutely.
You can't be that big of a hockey fan.
Yeah.
Hey Adam, I want to touch on something you pointed out. And that's Stuart Skinner. So like you said, yeah, he's top in the league right now in save percentage. He is 5th in the league in goals saved above expected. Is there a goalie controversy in Edmonton right now? Like, has he supplanted Campbell as the number 1? Because Campbell struggled a little bit up to this point, whereas Skinner's playing amazing.
That's a really great question, and one that I've been asked a number of times by other like friends that I talk hockey with. And the thing is, no, I don't think he has replaced Campbell as number 1. Campbell's come from a different market, and historically, when we see goaltenders go to a new team in a new market, it takes them time to adjust to the new system, to their defensemen, to their forwards, to the whole team dynamic. So we're seeing kind of growing, I guess you could say growing pains from Campbell, but I have no doubt he will come into form about probably another month-ish, maybe. I don't know. Historically, his numbers in November are fantastic as well. I think it also just gives the team a really good cushion with Skinner in net at times to come back to. He's used to playing with these guys. He's got a comfort level in Edmonton. That guy's our future number 1. Absolutely. And
how old is he?
How old is he? He's 20.
He's 23, I think.
Yeah.
He's young guy. Yeah.
He's young.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
We drafted him, got him through the system. Like he was a Swift Current Bronco, won the WHL title with them, went to the Memorial Cup. They lost out because they were banged up, but like he's been good. He's come up through the Condors, and like he's been solid and growing and getting better ever since, like, coming into the organization. So I think we've got a great tandem. I have no doubt that Campbell will come into form, and I think they're going to be like a 60-40, 50-50 split type tandem.
Yeah.
Must be nice to be able to develop a goalie. I don't remember the last time the Leafs actually did that.
When's the last time the Leafs developed a goalie?
Yeah.
Potvin, probably. I guess maybe Reimer. I think Reimer came up through the system.
Yeah.
I think Sparks.
Yeah,
that's
right.
even a great one.
Calgary's is Vernon. Like Calgary's last goalie they developed is Mike Vernon. Like if you look at Trevor Kidd, never really panned out. Kiprusoff, but he was traded. He was quite young when he was traded, but he still wasn't drafted. So the last Flames good goalie that they drafted, Mike Vernon.
That's a tough position.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
But like some organizations seem to be able to do it consistently, like the Rangers, whereas other teams just can't. I think it's a skill set to be able to spot talent and develop talent at goaltending. Some teams have it and some teams don't. So, and then there's luck involved too, right? Like goaltending's kind of voodoo, and sometimes you just get lucky and get the right guys. So maybe Oilers struck a gold with Skinner. Speaking of players doing really well, let's talk about Connor McDavid. So leading the league in points, which is typical of Connor McDavid, but also goals right now. And there's even talk about maybe he could pull off the 50 and 50. He has 11 goals in 10 games. What do you think? Matthews got a mid-season 50 and 50 last year, but we haven't had an official 50 and 50 since 1992 with Brett Hall. So what do you think, Adam? First of all, do you think he can win the Rocket Richard this year? Do you think he will? And two, do you think he can pull off a 50 and 50?
I'm going to go off and I'm going to quote one of your favorite GMs, Kyle Dubas. He can and he will.
For both?
For both. Both. He can and he will. He's going to win the Rocket Richard. He's going to win the Art Ross. He's going to win the scoring title, which is the same as the Art Ross, right? He's going to win it all.
Art Ross is the scoring
title.
Win it all. Yes.
And mark my words, fans of the late offside, the Oilers are also going to hoist the Stanley Cup this year.
Wow. He just asked you about McDavid winning the scoring title.
I love how rattled you got. It's so good.
My goodness. Okay. Well, you got to put something on this. Like if say Edmonton doesn't win the cup, are you going to shave your head, or you going to do an episode I don't know, upside down or something? Like are you going to put something on this, or this is a bold declaration?
I'll bet you $20.
$20.
And sorry, what is this bet that he's going to?
It's just
which one?
Just straight up that the Oilers are going to win the cup.
That the Oilers will win the cup.
The cup. Okay, we're doing the cup.
Okay,
not the Rocket, not the.
No, because I don't want to shave I don't want to shave my head. I'm a single dude, and that will not look good. And then, I really truly believe I've got this feeling.
You had a feeling last year too, though. I remember you saying that.
They have antibiotics for that feeling, Adam, or cream.
Well, you know what? From what I see this year, with the Oilers and them facing adversity, it's like they shrug it off this year. It's unbelievable, and they plow. Their defense, the best defense is offense. They have the puck out of their zone so much, and they pepper goalies like you wouldn't believe.
Okay, but you can't be. They're winning games 7-4, man. It's not like their defense is.
They're winning
down defense.
That's it though. That's it though, Ryan. Ryan, they were winning like that in the playoffs last year. They're finding different ways to win. 7-4. How did they win in St. Louis? They won a low scoring game there. It was 2-1, 3-1 with an empty net goal, I believe. They're finding different ways to win. Man, I understand your teams are going through a bit of growing pains, but you guys don't need to take that out on me.
I was having a good day. I don't need this.
Oh my God.
Come in here.
Isn't Calgary ahead of Edmonton in the standings?
Well, the thing is, no, they're behind, but they played 3 less games or something.
And another thing that makes me feel a lot more confident about this team is that we've got a solid first line, we've got a solid second line, and now we've got a solid energy third line that's been playing consistently well with McLeod, Fogle, and Puljujarvi together, and then we got a fourth line that can pop in there for a couple minutes a game. I don't know. They're good. And if our defense can hold off enough, coming into the net, we'll be fine. We got better goaltenders, I think, too, than last year.
But who have they really beaten? They beat Calgary. That was a close game,
Carolina, St. Louis.
Carolina's a good team. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Carolina hadn't lost a game. Yeah. Edmonton beat them. St. Louis hadn't lost a game in regulation. They beat them.
But St. Louis is struggling right now. They're not even.
Well, Edmonton started that. Pittsburgh hadn't lost a game in regulation. Edmonton beat them.
Fair enough.
they've Calgary was doing damn well, and then Edmonton, kicked the crutch out of the arm of the old man. Fell over.
They did. I will say they did start hot last year before they went into that cold spell. So let's see how they do. When was it? December. So let's see how they do in December this year. And if they can get through December still playing really hot, then I'll start to believe they're at them.
All right. Well, Adam, what you should do is, like, instead of betting me, you go to Vegas, because they're getting like 20-1 odds to win the cup now, something like that. You put $20 down or on any betting site. This is not a gambling website by any means, by the way, or a gambling like show, but you could make some money, and then if you win, then maybe you could throw an Oilers Stanley Cup party or something.
That's right. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go onto my sports interaction.
We don't advise you to do that, the watchers or listeners. Like, if you want, if you want to just take $20 and throw it away,
then we will promote it as much as you want.
That's right.
We'll have like intermission, like with Cabby. He'll come on and he'll just like spout stuff in the middle, like they do on the broadcast now.
Hey Sanjay, what are your thoughts on McDavid and both the Rocket and 50-50? Do you think he can pull one or both of them off?
Oh, we lost his audio. He's doing that on purpose.
Speechless.
Yeah, he's doing that on purpose. Oh my God.
I just didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you I don't know, but it'd be like if you had like an enemy, and then like he won the lottery, and that's kind of what it is.
Well, that's what Edmonton did.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. So and then there's like flaunting in your face. You're like, hey, I just got a new Lamborghini and I'm flying off to Italy for the weekend and going to see, I don't know, Elton John in London. And you're just like, oh, good for you, man. You do you. And I'm just like, here, like, we don't have that. No, but seriously, Will McDavid, 50-50. I don't know. Like,
it's pretty rare.
If you look at his goal totals, like, he's never hit 50 before, right?
No.
Or has he?
No, his highest in the season was 44.
44. So like that's a big jump to do 50-50, but he seems like he's shooting the puck more. If anything, like he seems more confident, which is kind of scary for the rest of the league. Will he do it? I'm gonna say no, because he only plays the Flames one more time. So
you want to make a wager? Huh? You want to shave your head?
Want to shave my head? I don't know. This hair is, it took me a long time to grow this thing. I don't, I gotta
keep it out. Here's my wager for you. He gets 50 goals.
Mm-hmm. In 50 games.
You have to go into work with a Sharpie penis on your forehead.
Well, I work from home, so I'll tell you what. If McDavid gets 50-50, not this year, but next year, I'll take you to a Flames and Oilers game in Calgary with the tickets.
That's a solid one.
Shit, that's awesome.
It has to be an official 50-50.
Thank you. That's a good
one. It has
one.
to be an official 50-50. Yeah. If he does that the next year,
so that means he has to get 50 in 50 games.
Yes.
Before the Oilers get to 51 games in this season.
Yeah.
Game 51. Yeah.
Oh, deadly. Sweet. I like that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And if he doesn't, then I don't know. You got to put like a Flame C on your shirt or something. I don't know.
Okay. I'll figure something out.
But yeah, no, if he does, then I'll take you to a Flames Oilers game next year in Calgary if that happens.
Well, son of a bitch.
All right. I got some thoughts on McDavid too. In terms of his run for the Rocket. I mean, I think he's going to be the running. I mean, he is every year anyways, so he definitely has a chance, but I'm skeptical he wins it. And this is why. So the last 3 Rocket Richard winners have scored at around a 60 goal pace. And like we said, the most goals McDavid's ever scored is 44. I mean, if you went by pace, he scored at a 48 goal pace and won the shortened season.
He's on pace for 80. He's on pace for 80 right now.
He's on pace for a lot right now. Exactly. He's on pace for over 82 goals. Yeah. So, but let's say like 48 is like his highest he's ever done. So like if he needs to get, let's say 60, if that's like the new benchmark in this new NHL, so he'll need to score an extra 12 goals this season, right? So you got to look at a few things. So why is he scoring more goals? So the one thing you need to look at is like, okay, is he taking more shots than usual, right? So I was taking a look at it. So his average shots per game throughout his career is 3.3. This season, it's 3.8. So he's about a half shot more per game. And that's really, it's not a lot. Like over the course of 82 games, that's an additional 41 shots. And if you look at his career his career shooting percentage and you multiply it by 41, that's an additional 6 goals on the season. So that's just not enough. And then, so he's not increasing his shots that much. Why he's scoring so much right now is his insane shooting percentage. So his career shooting percentage is 15.3%. This season, it's almost double that. He's at 29%.
Wow.
That's not sustainable. It's going to drop. Austin Matthews, who scored at a 67 goal pace last year, only had a shooting percentage of 17.2%. So he's not going to be able to keep up a nearly 30% shooting percentage. So if he's not shooting enough, and I think McDavid, he could win the Rocket if he really wanted to. I think he could, but he would need to shoot more often. And I just don't think he is willing to do that. He's shooting half a shot more per game. It's not enough.
Wouldn't that be incredible though if he got it without taking that many shots?
It would, but I really don't see him shooting at a 30. Even if he shot at 17% what Matthews did last year, he still wouldn't be able to get to that 60 goal level. Now, I mean, potentially no one scores 60 this year. And then, yeah, for sure. Maybe he could get, maybe he could win it with 55 goals or something like that. But the past 3 years, it's been around 60, and goals are up again this year in the league. I think that's just the new NHL. I think people are scoring more goals. So I think 60 is kind of the range that he has to go for. I just don't think he shoots enough. He's a playmaker. He likes to set up his teammates. He's a good teammate that way. He's incredibly talented passer, and he's going to utilize that part of his game. So I think he has the talent. I think he could do it if he really wanted to. I just don't think that's his main focus. And so that's why I don't think he's going to do it. But we'll see.
I think he will. I think he will. There's been a lot of talk, even with, there was an interview with Draisaitl earlier this year, and he was like, you could score 60 goals. You need to shoot more.
Yeah, he does need to shoot more, but he's not.
I think he's dissension in the Oilers locker room. Draisaitl and McDavid are fighting. Let's spread the word so that, it gets to the media.
The thing is, Connor works on, because we're on a first name basis, works on everything or something different every off season.
Yeah.
And that shot looks wicked.
Okay. Well, what's different about a shot this year? What do you notice that's different?
Oh, his confidence just with taking it. I don't know if he's worked on anything in terms of that. Like, you hear of him like hiring Will Acton to help him with face-offs and stuff like that in this summer, a couple summers ago. He's just good.
Yeah,
and I honestly think
I'm not denying he's good.
No, and
I said he like the stuff he can do at the speed he goes. The way, like, it's not just the speed, but it's what he can do with the puck while going at that speed. Yeah. It's so difficult for goalies to be able to predict where that puck's going to go.
And that is why his shooting percentage can be so high.
But it never has. It's never. No. It's not going to be 30%. It's not.
No, it won't be. But it's going to be 25.
Well, like, what was Ovechkin's? Like, does anyone know like what Ovechkin's was during his prime years? Like, I don't know if it was that high.
Not idea.
No, I'm like sure.
You look at some of the best shots in the league history.
I'm sure it's probably around like where Matthews is, like around 17-18%. That's probably.
I gotta look it up because now I'm curious.
You're going to do it, okay? Because I was going to do that, but that's fine. You look it up.
I don't know. I'm very slow at this, so. Joe Sakic.
Why are you looking at Joe Sakic now? I thought you were looking up Alex Ovechkin.
Well, I was saying, like, so his best was 19% Sakic. So what's Ovechkin's? In a season, yeah.
And when was that, though? Was that
like in the 90s?
Like early 90s or late 90s?
Early 90s. I think it was like with
there
Quebec.
You go. That's
and Ovechkin's best shooting percentage was 15%. And that was
15%. And
15.4.
And so for him to score, because he got a 60-goal campaign, so for him to score 60 goals, was that a 60-goal campaign that he?
No, that was 2020, I think.
Okay.
I'm just looking at Brett Hall's as well as another shooter.
To score 60 goals at 15%, you're taking a lot of shots per game. you got to be taking more than 3.5 shots a game. That's just how that's just the math.
So I was just gonna say that when Brett Hull got 86 goals in a year, his shooting percentage was 22.1%.
Right, but again, early 90s, like completely
that was like
different. 90s. That's completely different era. But anyways, it'll be interesting to see. I like I said, he's going to be in the running. He was last year. What did he finish last year in goals? Like 5th, 6th, something like that. Like he's always in the running for it. I just don't know if he's going to shoot enough. That's the only thing.
Well, like if he doesn't win, who's going to win? Because he's got quite a big lead now. Who's going to overtake him?
Well, I'm going to argue Austin Matthews potentially.
Well, who saw that coming?
Who saw that coming, right? But I mean, same thing happened last year. Leon Draisaitl had a 15-goal, I think it was a 15-goal lead on Austin Matthews at the beginning of the year, because Austin Matthews only scored 1 goal in October last year.
Yeah.
And then he went on a huge heater, right? So, he's the past 2-time Rocket Richard winner. I would argue, until he's dethroned, he would be the favorite. Another guy who's on fire right now is Steven Stamkos. He's among the goal leaders right now. And when you look at expected goals leaders, McDavid is not up there, but Stamkos is. So he's actually kind of getting the amount of goals that's expected of him. So he's putting up enough volume shots, and his shooting percentage isn't crazy high that, it's sustainable at the pace he's going. So Stamkos potentially too. You never know. But we'll see. The season's young. So
you forgot about Erik Karlsson? Erik Karlsson could win.
Man, Erik Karlsson. Hey, I wasn't going to bring him up, but since you said it, like, what do you guys?
We should.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Let's rap about him.
Yo, Karlsson is playing again. He's with the Sharks and he's leading again, and he's shooting the puck, and he's got a lot of luck, and it's going in the net, and something that rhymes with net. Yeah.
You definitely Erik Karlsson, I tell you, like, he was the best defenseman for probably 5 years, I'd say, around 5 years. I said this on the Twitter chat, and like Baron kind of made fun of it, but like, honestly, he was my secret weapon for quite a few years in winning my fantasy pool, because I would take him with like my number 2 pick every year. When guys are still picking forwards, I would always take Karlsson, because he would get you close to a point a game as a defenseman. And, the gap between him and the next defenseman was always so much bigger than the gap between the forwards. So he was always my secret weapon. But, ever since he went to San Jose, man, he hasn't looked right. He had that nasty injury and several injuries since then, and
diminished role.
Well, and he had to share kind of like that number 1 spot with Brent Burns, right? Like, I don't think he was getting top power play minutes and all of that. And then all of a sudden this year, Brent Burns is gone. Erik Karlsson's healthy. And what is he? Is he second in the league in points right now, I think? Or goals, at least. He's second in the league in goals.
Yeah, which is crazy.
He got like 9 goals.
That's nuts. Because like most defensemen don't even get 10 goals in a year. Like, to get 9 goals in the first like 10 games, like, that's nuts.
He's got 15 points, and his goals, he's got 9 goals.
Yeah, 9 goals. So yeah, what do you guys think about this? I actually have him again in my fantasy pool. I didn't take it with my number 2 spot. I actually didn't pick my defenseman until much, much later this year, and I picked him up. But and people made fun, like, oh, Erik Karlsson, like, what is this, like, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever?
Yeah.
But hey, like, once again, he might help me win this damn thing. So what are you guys thoughts? Is he back?
What do you think, Sanjay?
I think so. Yeah, like, he's played really well. The unfortunate part is San Jose is still not a very strong team.
No, they're brutal.
And his contract, I don't think, is movable. Like, if you look at how big it is, if you want to move him to a contender so he can win a Stanley Cup, it's just like 5 more years at like what, 11 or 12 million. So he's kind of like stuck in San Jose. The team doesn't look like it's going to be a contender for the next couple years anyways, unless they win the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. So I think he's back, but I think he's kind of marooned on an island, doing his best. Yeah. And I think that kind of helps his offensive talent, because you're losing the game, you're 3-7 in the season or whatever. who cares if you take an extra rush or if you take an extra chance? It's not like it's going to affect playoff positioning, or, your coach isn't going to be like, oh, you cost us this game because they're already losing, kind of thing. So I think playing with no pressure, playing in San Jose with a team has no expectations this year, he can just go and freewheel. He has nothing. He's already got his big contract. So, if he puts up 1 goal or 100 goals, it doesn't matter. So he's just going out there having fun, enjoying the game again. And he's a terrific player. And it's happy to see because, with Ottawa, he was one of the best defensemen. He had a stretch where you could argue he was one of the best defensemen of all time. Like he was up there offensively with like Ray Bourque and like Nick Lindstrom and stuff like that. So to see him back is exciting. You never want to see a player's career get derailed by injury, like Dion Phaneuf, for example, who you look at his first 5 years, you're like, okay, let's start making him a Hall of Fame plaque because this guy's going to be in it. And it didn't turn out that way. And with Karlsson, you said that in Ottawa, you're like, okay, let's get this guy a Hall of Fame plaque. And then when he went to San Jose, I kind of like, well, let's not start, doing it now. But now maybe there's a couple good offensive years, he can get in, kind of thing.
Yeah, he's back. He's back. He's got that number 1 role as a number 1-2 defense. He's got the power play. It's like he's almost like that comfort level has sunk in. And yeah, it looks like he's back. We'll see how the rest of the season goes, but
yeah, as long as he can stay healthy. I mean, that's
Yeah.
always the thing with him nowadays. If he can stay healthy, it'd be a nice story. You don't often see a resurgence from players like that, right? Like once they start to decline, they're usually done. But nope, he looks like prime Erik Karlsson. So we'll see. I'm hoping he is, because I like winning playoff or winning hockey pools. So, okay, boys, we got time for one more topic. So I'm going to let you guys choose. We can either talk Leafs or we can do the reverse retro jersey review. Which one do you want to do?
Ooh.
I'll let you guys pick. Adam picks because either talk about like the Flames reverse retro or talk about Leafs. So which one does Adam want to talk about?
It really doesn't matter to me. Make the pick there, Ryan.
All right. Well, let's talk Leafs then.
I get the viewers in.
You know what? Because I don't want you guys to say that I was ducking this topic. Yeah. So let's
fair enough.
Let's I'm going to show you that I can be a man here, and I can discuss when my team is going through a rough patch. And that's what they're doing. So they won today. So maybe things are going to be calming down. They looked really good against Philly. But before tonight, they were 4-4-2 to start the season, and they've lost to some really bad teams, including the last place Ducks, which was pretty ugly. And people are going nuts, as they do in Toronto. Media's going nuts, Twitter's going nuts. I just watched the Steve Dangle podcast, and Steve Dangle's already given up on this team and said that they're through. Keefe is being asked if he's worried about his job. I mean, it's pure pandemonium, in Leaf
after
land.
9 games, it's all over.
Yeah, exactly. So, now some people are saying, relax, pointing out that the Leafs had a bad start to the season last year as well, and they still finished with the team record 115 points on the season, 4th in the NHL. Others are saying that this feels and looks worse, and they need to make changes now. So, I mean, where do you guys sit on this debate?
I give it time. I just don't think they have as good a team as they did last year. So do I think they're going to set a record for points in a season? No. Do I think they're going to finish in the top echelon of their division? Maybe. I don't think they're going to top it, but I think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I definitely think they're a playoff team. Unfortunately, with Toronto being the most popular team, you get talked about the most in Canada. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when the Yankees slide or the Lakers are having a rough go. If the Timberwolves or if the Minnesota Twins, I don't know why I picked 2 Minnesota teams, but if those teams are kind of, not to rag on Minnesota, it's great. But if those 2 teams are sliding, no one talks about it, right? But when Toronto or those like upper echelon, like really like most popular teams are sliding, they drive views for anyone, right? So the media wants to talk about it. They want to say like, think they're smarter than the Leafs. So they're like, this is what's wrong with Toronto. They need to do this, this, and that. And if they did that and listened to me, they would be first place and win the Stanley Cup. So I think with Toronto, it's a little bit unfair. Playing on Toronto would be a nightmare for me. Like, it would just be anything that happened. You have one turnover and it would be like the leading story in all the like national sports news stories. So it's very tough playing in Toronto. But having said all that, I think they're a good team. I think they're better than what they're showing, and they just need some time. They got rid of Campbell. He didn't sign there, so they have new goaltending as well. So that's something, we mentioned having a new goalie on a new team takes time. It takes time for Campbell and Edmonton. It took time for Markstrom and Calgary. It's taking time for the new goalies, and Murray's hurt anyway. So I think Toronto's fine team. I think they're going to be fine. I don't know. I think just relax. Like, it's 9 games, it's 10 games. The goal isn't to win October. It isn't to win November. The goal is to win the Stanley Cup. And how many times, if you go back in the history of the last like 20, 30 years, how many times has the best team in October and November gone on and won the Stanley Cup? I don't know the stats, but off the top of my head, probably doesn't happen that often because, you got to go through some adversity. You got to build up, and you got to, go through some hard times before you go through the playoffs and the battle of the 4 rounds in the playoffs.
And, CJ, sorry to interrupt you, Sanjay, but interesting point. CJ had just tweeted earlier that the past, I think it was like 4 Stanley Cup winners, 4 or 5 Stanley Cup winners started off with a losing record, which I found pretty interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Edmonton, 2-3.
Well, and like Colorado's the same way. Colorado's 4-4-1, and like, or something like that. Like, do we expect them to miss the playoffs? No, and they're not going to.
Tampa's poor right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bad, it wasn't a bad loss, but like, it was a playoff loss. It's probably like hurt. They were expected to go far last year, and they lost to Tampa, so there's no shame in that. So I say just give Toronto time; they'll be fine. Yeah, I have no worries that Toronto will be in the playoffs and win a round this year. I'm not a Leafs fan, so I don't have to, stay up at night worrying about that. But I think they're going to win a round. Eventually they will, and I think this is the year.
All right, we're almost out of time, boys. So I'm actually not going to be able to go really in depth into this. I'm just going to say I watched our episode last year. Yesterday, I just watched it just to see how similar it was, because we had an episode called Leafs Fans Need to Relax. And honestly, the stuff that we were talking about at that time is so similar to the stuff that's happening this year. And I know people are saying it feels different. People forget how pissed off people were last year because they came out of that Montreal series blowing that 3-1 lead, and they came out ice cold, and people were pissed, and people wanted Marner gone. So people were not happy last year either, and they felt like heads should roll, and then things turned around. The same stuff's happening this year. Like Matthews, low shooting percentage, that whole line's ice cold, but yet they're dominating play. Justin Hall started off really bad last year. He's starting off really bad this year. Last year he turned it around. Hopefully this year he will too. Muzzin was bad last year. He's injured this year. Starting goaltender out, injured. Tons of similarities. When you look at their possession stats, expected goals, though, they're still top 10 in the league. And so I do think this team's going to turn around. That's probably all I can get into it right now. Go back and watch that previous episode if you want to see how I feel, because it's basically the same as this year. Please like, click, subscribe, and comment below. We love to talk to you guys and answer questions and get into debates. So be sure to comment below, and we will respond to those questions and comments. And so for this episode, I'm Ryan.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Sanjay.
And this is Delayed Offside. Thanks for watching.
Delayed Offside.